Let's go. What's up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches.
Where are your friends?
They're behind the camera.
We are.
Long time no see. This is first time we've done a long form video in quite some time, and I haven't been doing it for a while just because I've wanted to save it for times I'm actually going to be talking about something that I'm interested in. And I've got a weird one today, and we're gathered here today to discuss Tag Heuer. Now, this is a brand which has notoriously been bashed by everyone in the watch community to a certain point, and to be fair, probably myself over sometimes as well.
Probably.
I was going to say.
But you know what? Being objective and reflecting a little bit, I actually think they've actually done a really good job over the last couple of years, and they're having a bit of a comeback. If you frame your perception of Tag Heuer right, I think they've been doing a good job. So I think, you know, their commercial success and the direction that they're going with their brand strategy, models, and other things that they've been doing, I think are pretty cool. So let's get into the details and talk about it.
Perfect to lead on to that, actually, for what you just said. So can you give us an overview of Tag Heuer's recent performance, their growth through 2022 and 2023, basically?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, during the pandemic years, they didn't benefit as much as Rolex, AP, Patek, even brands like Vacheron were having, you know, they were like a dog with two Vacheron, you know, suddenly from nowhere. Tag Heuer didn't really grab into that. But now that we're coming into a different economy, suddenly that affordable luxury is kind of, people are now like, oh, okay, maybe I'm open to this. Maybe I don't want to spend 20, 30 grand on a watch, which I know I'm going to lose money on. Listen, you're going to lose money on a Tag Heuer, fine. I think that's a given. But given the money that you're spending out, which generally with Tag is around 5 grand or less, averagely for models, you don't feel like, oh shit, is my wife going to kill me? You know, am I getting a divorce? Am I going to wake up, you know, and see a shovel over my head?
We don't see that.
Yeah, no one wants to see that. So I think that, well, they position themselves well as they kind of come out. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the general marketplace of where they are. I think they're well positioned in that affordable price point.
So obviously you've touched on the fact that you're getting back into Tag Heuer. Has it got anything to do with Formula One?
Has it got anything to do with Formula One?
And watching
No, I would say like this. Their brand partnerships are going to be paying them dividends now. Think about this, okay? So Formula One, yeah, I've got into Formula One. And listen, Formula One has a lot of eyeballs on it, right? So they're into various different things in motorsports, but let's just stick with F1 for right now. Obviously, they sponsor Red Bull, which is in the Constructor Championships, #1. They are obviously, any time that Max Verstappen is winning anything, they're like, look at his custom. He's wearing that Monaco. Is it a split second?
I think so. I don't watch Formula One awful.
But you know what's good? Their sponsorship of F1 is tangible. So the main watch sponsor of F1 is Rolex, right? Yep. But all Rolex do is have signs everywhere. There's plastered everywhere. But no one's wearing a Rolex watch, right?
No.
But the drivers of Red Bull are, so Sergio Perez, obviously Max Verstappen, Christian Horner, and the whole of the Red Bull team. They're all that's tangible. You see the watches that they're wearing, and you're like, okay, I want one of those. You can get one of those. They're affordable, and you can be like, yeah, I'm in. I'm part of F1. I'm in this motorsport.
Am I right thinking the winners still get a Rolex?
No,
that's
like
Le Mans.
Yeah, Daytona.
Yeah.
Now listen, they are involved with Le Mans and more closely with Porsche. Obviously, they've had those Carrera Porsche models, and that's evolving, and they're quite cool, especially the latest one. They are a bit big for me at 44mm, but it's a cool tie-in, and it's tangible. I think those brand partnerships, they've got some other celebrities that they tie in with. I'm just trying to think, who's that guy, the actor?
Tag Heuer squad.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah. So Ryan Gosling. They've got some other sports stars as well. I just think, they're kind of paying dividends. I mean, I haven't seen as much of Ryan lately. Maybe I think, F1's taken the limelight, or maybe that's just where my eyes go.
Punched him out because he's got that face about it.
But yeah, I just think that they're more tangible. You know, like Rolex sponsoring it, all they do is slap their sign up.
Yeah.
There's nothing about
It's
who
a
they
brand
are,
slap.
what they are, nothing. It's just like, I'm like...
It's the timing though as well, isn't it? Then they do the timing.
Yeah, their names are on things, but there's nothing about the product. Like Richard Mille is in it. I'll tell you who's a new sponsor of Alpine, the French team, H Motor.
Yes.
Like, they're giving out watches. Richard Mille is up and down the paddock. I mean,
People don't want to see a logo. People want to see the brand being lived.
yeah, I mean, but the Richard Mille, obviously, I mean, it's completely different stratosphere to Tag Heuer, but it's not tangible. We can't buy them, right? As normal people.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, the everyday Joe.
Whereas the Tag Heuer is. So I just think that's, you know, I think that's really effective. I think that was a great move.
You can connect to it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
like the Tag Heuer connected. Ooh.
So there's some key models that are driving the comeback for Tag Heuer. Which models are doing that, James?
I think that there's various, obviously, so they're putting on some heritage and some is new. Like, you've got the Carrera line, first of all. And there's actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, they've actually got depth in that range. You've got new models like the glass box chronographs, right? Those are, objectively, they are beautiful watches. They're well sized. You know, the dial colours, the whole spec of, you know...
Yeah, they start at 39mm, is it? 39mm?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, the glass box was brought out in 2023, but they are also doing, you know, they're playing on those sizes more, because you can get the Carrera in a 42mm, the more basic model, some of them in 39 and 36. But you know, the glass, I mean, these prices, obviously I'm quoting Guernsey VAT-free prices here, 4,900. That's a beautiful watch with loads of history, a great movement. You can buy it straight away. And if you were, I know people are going to say you can't compare it to the Speedmaster or to the Daytona, but it is an alternative to the Daytona, whether you like it or not, and it's less than half the price. And it's got just the Heuer brand has got a lot of heritage behind it.
And what they ought to do is take Tag's name off of the dial more often in those heritage lines.
I mean, listen, Tag was a big deal in the 80s, you know, Technique at Vanguard, you know, when they came in and slapped their name across the building, which was a little bit arrogant, but obviously Tag Heuer was fucking massive in the 80s and 90s. It was up there with Rolex in terms of, you know, status symbol. But I think that they are having that comeback. They've repositioned. They've got great models like that. The Monaco, they're doing cool stuff. I mean, obviously, I was saying stuff about Max Verstappen wearing this like 120k split-second chronograph. But again, that's another model that you can pick up below £6,000. Whether it's, you know, the Steve McQueen look, blue dial with the crown on the left-hand side, whether it's the Golf edition. That's cool as hell. You know, that motorsport time. But obviously, more lately, the Formula One relaunch in terms of, you know, the 80s comeback. Obviously, they did that collaboration with Kith, which if you're in the US, it might mean something. But listen, it was cool. It was an okay price point, about £1,500. That was cool. You know, they were hard to get.
Is that their most iconic watch? I would say the Monaco, though. Going back to that one,
I would probably say it's Carrera.
Monaco is probably the most recognisable in today's world.
Yeah, I would say in terms of its design language, it was very forward for its time, and that stood the test of time well, which they're not getting enough credit for. But maybe that's because they've bastardized the Tag Heuer range over the years, but they're kind of learning from that. I mean, like, I really like the Carrera Date, 39mm, £2,300.
I was going to ask on that one actually.
It's cool. I like, genuinely, I'd buy one. If you were going to buy one for, I don't know, your son, your friend, you know, wives buying them for their husbands, you know, at like well under £3,000. That's a solid buy for a decent Swiss watch.
They are in the danger, if they're going much higher and do a bit of an Amiga price hike,
Yes.
they are in the danger of throwing themselves out to like the Tudor, because the second you start comparing to Tudor quality, you're out of the running.
No, I actually think their quality is as good as...
I agree, but I just don't think the brand is... A bit like how Amiga's trying to say, I'm Rolex, I'm better.
Yeah, I do think Tag Heuer is in line with Tudor, but I agree on the
optics.
Yeah, exactly. They're not an Amiga, so they shouldn't do that. I mean, Tag Heuer would probably argue that they're better.
Yeah.
Because they do make some bloody expensive
That's
watches.
what I make up.
But that would be terrible. And probably the other one I'd say is just lastly to round off the Aqua Racer range, right? You get a solid, you know, dive watch from anything from like £1,000 upwards. You've got the new Solar 200 meter dive watch, you know, for a couple of grand. That's cool. But you can get that now. You can get the accuracy, anything from quartz steel all the way up to solid gold at 16-ish thousand pounds. Would I pay 16 grand for a gold tag at price? No, probably not. But when someone rolls out the casino at 3 a.m, with 4 hookers around their arm, maybe they get talked into this stupid shit. I don't know. But listen, it's still cool to see. I like a lot of their materials they're using, especially for the Porsche Carrera models. They're doing a lot more stuff. They bought back the Dark Lord Monaco. That was really cool at around 6-7 grand.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's just some cool stuff going on. You can tell there's actually some thought, and they're actually thinking about watch collectors, but also about the casual market as well. So yeah.
So James, with Tag up and coming now, what do you think their business strategy and executive changes have been to create this growth, as it were?
Well, obviously, Daddy put Freddie in charge of the brand for a few years as CEO.
Freddie was very grateful.
I bet Freddie wasn't grateful, but anyway, to be fair to him, Frederick Arnold that we're talking about now, when I'm not like mocking them, even though they're in a way better position than I am.
By birthright.
Nepotism. I do think that probably his youth and enthusiasm, like how dogs are really enthusiastic every day in life. Maybe Freddie, some of that energy is rolled off into Tag Heuer, through their culture of their company. To be fair, listen, he's done a good job. Objectively, from the outside, it looks like he's actually done a good job. They've done good stuff digitally with their connected, but also their digital strategies, their brand partnerships, their direction on product. So actually, he has done a good job. Now, he has come out, he's obviously... Daddy may have given him a new, better job, but they've got, I'm going to butcher his name, Julian Tonnerre. You might remember, so he was the CEO of Zenith, all part of the LVMH family.
It's a major shake-up.
Well, listen, Frederick's had the bump, not a coke bump. I don't know why I'm just like not been keeping this serious, but anyway. But Julian's taken over now, and Julian did what he could with Zenith, so I do think that he's a good replacement and custodian of the brand, taking it forwards. I think as long as they keep moving it in that direction of the brand partnerships, keeping it credible, staying in their lane price-wise, and not being like, we want to be like Rolex now, like, you're not going to be Rolex, you're never going to be Rolex, but that's okay, because you know what, Rolex is super boring, right? It's not... people talk about scarcity, right, with Rolex. They produce 1.2 million watches. That's not scarce.
That's mass production.
You can go to like one of the big auctions, and there'll be 40 people there with Paul Newman Daytonas, right? That's not scarce. Tag Heuer put out about 700,000-ish watches a year. By definition, they are more scarce, right, and rare than Rolex.
Yeah,
now, obviously, you can talk about demand this and demand that, and people might say, "Well, Tag Heuer floods the market." No, they don't. They're actually probably in about the sweet spot, maybe a little bit over.
It's all about optics. Rolex is a marketing vehicle.
Yeah, well, wait.
But and here's the other thing. Like we were talking about this before off camera. Like when I go on holiday, right? I'm not going to an Rolex AD and begging like, "Oh, please, master, please can I have something? Please can I give you my background and you might sell me another one?" Now, I don't give a shit, but I will go in there and maybe spend a couple of grand on Tag Heuer, not feel guilty about it, because I'm there on an expensive family holiday, which is already like doing me, but spend 3 grand on the Tag Heuer, I'll be like, oh yeah, great holiday, nice little pickup, That's where the brand's going, and I just think they keep going that direction. But listen, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you can be objective, like, do you think they've done better, or is that they're obviously not doing everything perfect? There have been some, nothing is ever going to be perfect for a brand. You're not going to identify with everything they do. But I'm really liking it. It's just a bit more interesting, and if you're a seasoned collector, even I think you will feel that like Rolex is boring right now. It is. AP is boring. Patek is boring. And you know what? Patek, AP, Rolex, they don't want us as customers like some people, because you've got to meet all their criteria. And listen, if that's you and you're happy to go and be like, I've got a really good relationship with my sales advisor, do me a favor. Like, that's not cool. I just want to go in there, spend my money, and listen, if there's great sales advice around, that's cool. We, chat, but I'm not begging no one for nothing. And I think, the Tag Heuer. Listen, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I'm wrong. What have I missed? What do you like? What do you not like? But listen, it's good to have, another player. It feels like they're back in the game.